Καλημέρα σε όλους. Καλώς ήρθατε στο σημερινό μας webinar. Περιμένουμε λίγα λεπτάκια για να έρθουν να προλάβουν να κάνουν register και οι υπόλοιποι και θα ξεκινήσουμε το webinar. Καλημέρα σε όλους και πάλι. Καλώς ήρθατε αρχικά στο σημερινό μας webinar, όπου θα μιλήσουμε για το ρίσκο των διαδικτυακών επιθέσεων που μπορεί να προσβάλλουν το δίκτυο μιας εταιρείας και την προστασία των συσκευών μας, οι οποίες συνδέονται στο δίκτυό μας. Είμαι η Νεφέλη Τζίκα, εργάζομαι στο τμήμα Pollution της Orthology ως Senior Sales Executive. Αργότερα σε αυτό το webinar, μετά την ολοκλήρωση του δικού μου κομματιού, θα μιλήσει και ο Τζόζεφ Κατσάλα, ο οποίος είναι ο τεχνικός της GFI, που θα μας δείξει έτσι, το πιο ενδιαφέρον νομίζω κομμάτι που έχει να κάνει με το προϊόν και πώς το GFI μπορεί να βοηθήσει στην αντιμετώπιση αυτών των απειλών. Σε αυτό λοιπόν το webinar θα δούμε πώς μπορούμε να ελαχιστοποιήσουμε τον ρίσκο των διαδικτυακών συσκευών, των διαδικτυακών επιθέσεων, με ποιο τρόπο θα εντοπίσουμε τα ευάλωτα σημεία στο δίκτυό μας και τέλος θα αναφερθούμε στην σημαντικότητα της σωστής καταγραφής των συσκευών του δικτύου. Ο τεχνικός της GFI στη συνέχεια, όπως είπα, θα μας δείξει ένα demo του GFI LanGuard, η οποία είναι μια λύση που εντοπίζει τις ευπάθειες στο δίκτυό μας, κάνει καταγραφή του software και του hardware και κάποια άλλα επιπλέον πράγματα πολύ βοηθητικά στο κομμάτι του security και στο compliance. Στο τέλος φυσικά του webinar θα ολοκληρώσουμε με τις ερωτήσεις σας. Η ελαχιστοποίηση λοιπόν του κινδύνου να συμβεί μια επίθεση στο δίκτυό μας απαιτεί αρχικά να γνωρίζουμε κάποια από τα πιο συνηθισμένα είδη επιθέσεων. Οι επιθέσεις αυτές μπορεί να έχουν διάφορες μορφές, τις οποίες θα δούμε στη συνέχεια. Η αλήθεια είναι πως πολλές φορές οι εισβολείς δεν γνωρίζουν σε ποιον επιτίθενται. Αυτό που τους ενδιαφέρει και αυτό για το οποίο είναι διατεθειμένοι είναι να μπουν σε ένα δίκτυο στο οποίο έχουν εντοπίσει κάποιο ευάλωτο σημείο. Στατιστικά, μέσα από έρευνες που έχουν γίνει, οι μικρομεσαίες επιχειρήσεις είναι αυτές που δέχονται τις περισσότερες επιθέσεις, κυρίως λόγω της νοοτροπίας που υιοθετούν, βάσει της οποίας θεωρούν πως δεν υπάρχει κάτι το πολύτιμο το οποίο μπορεί να θέσει το δίκτυό τους σε κίνδυνο. Στην πραγματικότητα, βέβαια, ξέρουμε πως αυτό δεν ισχύει και χρειαζόμαστε, αν μη τι άλλο, οι μικρομεσαίες επιχειρήσεις να διαθέτουν ακόμα μεγαλύτερη προστασία. Όπως αναφέραμε και νωρίτερα, είναι σημαντικό να έχουμε μία εικόνα των διαφορετικών ειδών επιθέσεων που μπορεί να συμβούν εις βάρος της επιχείρησής μας, ώστε να πάρουμε και τα κατάλληλα μέτρα και να προστατευτούμε. Σήμερα θα εστιάσουμε κυρίως στα είδη των επιθέσεων που είναι με κόκκινο χρώμα στην παρακάτω λίστα, αλλά και στο πώς η λύση της GFI βοηθά ώστε να αποτρέψουμε αυτές τις απειλές. Υπάρχουν πολύ διαφορετικοί τρόποι για να εμποδίσουμε έναν επιβλαβή κώδικα να μπει στο δίκτυό μας. Μπορεί να προέλθει μέσω ενός συνημμένου αρχείου σε ένα email, να είναι embedded σε μια εφαρμογή την οποία θα κατεβάσουμε ή να μπει στο δίκτυο μέσω κάποιας συσκευής την οποία θα κουμπώσουμε σε έναν υπολογιστή, σε ένα desktop, σε ένα laptop και έτσι αυτό να μπει στο δίκτυό μας και να απομονωθεί εκεί. Εξίσου βέβαια σημαντικό είναι να εντοπίσουμε και τα αδύναμα σημεία στο δίκτυό μας. Η λίστα που βλέπουμε εδώ περιέχει τις περιπτώσεις που συναντάμε πιο συχνά. Μία από τις πιο συνηθισμένες αδυναμίες προκαλείται από άτομα τα οποία έχουν ήδη πρόσβαση στο δίκτυο της εταιρείας. Οι υπάλληλοι, παραδείγματος χάριν, μπορεί εν αγνία τους να φέρουν ιούς, κακόβουλα λογισμικά μαζί τους, σε περίπτωση που χρησιμοποιούν κάποια workstations, laptops κτλ., τα οποία δεν είναι ασφαλή. Μαζί με τους υπαλλήλους και επισκέπτες στην προσπάθειά τους να χρησιμοποιήσουν το δίκτυό μας με στόχο την πρόσβαση σε κάποια δεδομένα μπορεί να προκαλέσουν κάποιο θέμα ασφάλειας και ζημιάς. Πέρα όμως βέβαια από τις εσωτερικές απειλές που αναφέραμε, οι περισσότερες εξωτερικές επιθέσεις προκύπτουν με τη βοήθεια ευάλωτων συσκευών, τις οποίες συνδέουμε πάνω στο δίκτυό μας. Επομένως, είναι εξίσου σημαντικό να διατηρούμε τους servers, τα workstation, τις κινητές συσκευές και γενικότερα τις συσκευές του δικτύου μας ανανεωμένες με τις τελευταίες ενημερώσεις του λογισμικού. Όσον αφορά τώρα στο κομμάτι του social engineering, συμβαίνουν συχνά επιθέσεις, το γνωστό phishing όπως ξέρουμε, και είναι δύσκολο να ταυτοποιηθούν όταν δεν έχουμε το κατάλληλο λογισμικό security, το κατάλληλο λογισμικό ασφαλείας. Εδώ βέβαια φτάνουμε και σε ένα σημείο όπου ίσως πρέπει να αναρωτηθούμε εάν γνωρίζουμε για το κομμάτι της πρόσβασης που έχουν οι υπάλληλοι στο δίκτυό μας ή στα συστήματα των υπολογιστών γενικότερα, μιας και ο λάθος σχεδιασμός μπορεί να δημιουργήσει πολλά προβλήματα. Μπορεί, παραδείγματος χάριν, ένας δυσαρεστημένος εργαζόμενος της εταιρείας να προσπαθεί να κάνει snipping στο δίκτυο, να προσπαθεί δηλαδή να βρει κάποιο ευάλωτο σημείο και να πάρει κάτι, έχοντας φυσικά κάποια κακή πρόθεση. Απ' την άλλη, βέβαια, μπορεί να υπάρξει και περίπτωση όπου ένας εργαζόμενος δεν θέλει να προκαλέσει κακό και άθελά του να δημιουργήσει ένα αδύναμο σημείο στο δίκτυό μας. Οπότε, έτσι καταλαβαίνουμε ότι η παρακολούθηση των λογισμικών που εγκαθιστούν οι χρήστες στα συστήματα των υπολογιστών, στους υπολογιστές τους και η γνώση του αν τα λειτουργικά συστήματα που χρησιμοποιούμε εμείς στην εταιρεία γενικότερα είναι πλήρως πατσαρισμένα, είναι πάρα πολύ σημαντικό. Φυσικά εδώ να αναφέρουμε ότι πολλές, ενδεχομένως και οι περισσότερες απειλές που μπαίνουν στο δίκτυο προέρχονται από την πλευρά του email, είτε μέσω phishing, είτε από κακόβουλα συνημμένα αρχεία, τα οποία ένας χρήστης θα ανοίξει με τη λήψη του email. Άρα κάτι ακόμα που πρέπει σίγουρα να βεβαιώσουμε, εκτός από την ασφάλεια του ηλεκτρονικού μας ταχυδρομείου, εάν δηλαδή χρησιμοποιούμε λογισμικό το οποίο anti-spam και γενικότερα το κομμάτι του email security να είναι πλήρως καλυμμένο, είναι πολύ σημαντική και η γνώση των ίδιων των χρηστών για το τι σημαίνει λαμβάνω ένα email με ένα αρχείο το οποίο δεν γνωρίζω τι αφορά. Μία ακόμη λοιπόν κοινή μέθοδος επίθεσης είναι και αυτή της παραβίασης των δεδομένων, το data breach. Τέτοιες επιθέσεις συνήθως προκαλούνται τυπικά από το εσωτερικό, εάν για παράδειγμα κάποιος αποκτήσει πρόσβαση σε έναν σερβερ και συνδέσει πάνω σε αυτόν ένα flash drive. Μία καλή λοιπόν αρχή για να εμποδίσουμε όλα αυτά τα είδη των επιθέσεων είναι να αναγνωρίζουμε από πού μπορεί να προέλθουν. η καταγραφή των συσκευών που συνδέονται στο δίκτυό μας, όπως επίσης το λογισμικό, τα συστήματα λειτουργίας, τα operating system, είναι μια διαδικασία η οποία μπορεί να είναι λίγο χρονοβόρα, αλλά είναι πάρα πολύ σημαντική, γιατί θα αποτρέψει μια καταστροφή σε πολύ μεγάλο βαθμό. Η ταυτοποίηση των συσκευών που μπαίνουν και υπάρχουν στο δίκτυό μας είναι πολύ σημαντική, δεδομένου ότι έχουμε το Bring Your Own Device και τα IoT devices στην εποχή μας πάρα πολύ συχνό φαινόμενο. Η επίγνωση γενικότερα, το πού βρίσκεται κάθε τι μέσα στο δίκτυό μας ανά πάσα χρονική στιγμή, είναι αυτό που θεωρούμε ότι μπορεί να γλιτώσει από πάρα πολλά προβλήματα. Εδώ λοιπόν έρχεται το GFI LanGuard, το οποίο λειτουργεί ως ένας virtual consultant στο κομμάτι του security, που παρέχει υπηρεσία σε 3 βασικά κομμάτια, στο patch management, στο vulnerability assessment και στο network και software auditing. Στην ουσία αυτό που κάνει το GFI LanGuard είναι να σκανάρει, να εντοπίζει, να αξιολογεί και να διορθώνει τα αδύναμα σημεία ασφαλείας στο δικτύο. Και όταν λέμε αδύναμα σημεία, εννοούμε κάποιες ανοιχτές πόρτες που μπορεί να υπάρχουν, κάποια patches τα οποία δεν έχουν περαστεί σε κάποιους υπολογιστές ή σε κάποια devices, και όλη αυτή την πληροφορία τη συλλέγει και μας την δίνει μέσω αναφορών, όπου στην ουσία εντοπίζει τα προβλήματα και επαληθεύει την κατάσταση ασφαλείας στην οποία βρίσκεται η εταιρεία μας. Έτσι λοιπόν αποκτούμε μια ολοκληρωμένη εικόνα πια της ασφάλειας του δικτύου. Σε αυτό το σημείο θα δώσω το λόγο στον Τζόσεφ Κατσάλα, ο οποίος είναι ο τεχνικός της GFI, ο οποίος και θα μας δείξει λίγο κάποια πράγματα για το GFI ως προϊόν και ποιες είναι μάλλον κάποιες από τις βασικές του λειτουργίες.
Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining. So I'm going to share my screen. I hope that everyone can see it. So thank you very much also for the introduction and for a great explanation of what the product has to offer. So now I would like to continue on specific features. So as it was said, it is very important to know what kind of devices do we have in the network, because only from understanding what devices we have and what they are capable of doing or not doing, we'll be able to put our security, the security of our company, the security of our users on much higher level. One of the first features in the GFI LanGuard which is able to address this is called the network discovery. So on the left side, as you can see, is the list of all computers which are present and discovered in my network. So we can see Windows computers, Mac computers, Linux computers, so pretty much a lot computers. And we can also see what kind of operating system they are running, what is the name, what is the manufacturer when the operating system was installed. So a lot of information. When we are talking about the network discovery, a lot of people are saying that I don't need this feature. I don't need it because I can see a computer on my firewall or on my switch, which is true because you can see a MAC address and you can see an IP address, but it doesn't tell you anything more. So if you want to fight, for example, the insider threat, which is one of the very real threats nowadays in the corporate environment, then you are not able to directly target this threat and not able to secure against it. And also from the other perspective, how difficult it is to bring a small computer, for example, a Raspberry Pi with already deployed operating system and some remote access application into the network. It's very easy. You will plug into any network socket in the company. It will likely get a DHCP, and from that point on, it will have the access to the network. So literally, it's bypassing all the defenses, all the firewalls and other security features which you into which you heavily invested. So all this money is pretty much going nowhere, and it's not going to help you. So the network discovery is the key. And maybe let me zoom in a bit, because I am connected with the TeamViewer, and I'm not sure how good or how bad you are seeing all this. Let me put this one. Hopefully that this is more visible for you guys. So as I was saying, once we have the computers from the network discovery, after that we are able to scan those computers with more deeper scan to find out more. One of the first type of information which you are going to receive from all the computers is going to be the vulnerability assessment. The vulnerabilities are present in every operating system. They are present in every device and in every application. The question is, who knows about those vulnerabilities? And there is a very simple answer to it. Once the vulnerability exists or it has been discovered, under normal circumstances, it will get discovered by OVAL or SANS or CD or similar entities. This vulnerability will get public in around 3 or 4 weeks. So the question is not who knows about it. The question is when people will know about it. Yeah. So the delay is like 4 weeks. After that, a newly discovered vulnerability will automatically go public, and everyone, literally everyone, can read what the vulnerability is, how he can exploit the vulnerability, and what the vulnerability could cause. So, of course, all the defenders, the security companies, the security administrators, all of those guys can read it, but at the same time also hackers. So once the vulnerability is public, it's basically a race. Who gets there first? I mean, who's going to fix the vulnerability or who's going to exploit it? And since there are thousands and thousands and thousands of vulnerabilities across multiple operating systems, devices, and applications, it's pretty much senseless for a person or for a group of persons to literally go on a web, find the definition, and try to find or think if they have this vulnerability or not. So for that purpose, the vulnerability assessment tool has been created, such as the LanGuard, and vulnerability assessment is one of its features. From the other perspective, when you are thinking about the vulnerabilities, some of them could be easily fixed. Some of them are pretty much originating from the device or application itself, so they are like part of it. And some of them could be, for example, easily fixed by changing of the configuration. So on the screen, you can see the list of vulnerabilities which have been discovered in my network. So we can see that the vulnerabilities are pretty much listed in the main categories. So we can see high security vulnerabilities, medium security vulnerabilities, low security vulnerabilities, and so on and so on. So for all of these groups, you can easily just click on the vulnerability, for example, cross-site scripting, something, and when you click on it, you can see the full description of the vulnerability. You can see what is the product which has this vulnerability. That means the product which has been discovered in my network, in this case Adobe Flash Player. You can see also the references, the CV or the OVAL numbers, and of course you are able to check which are the affected computers and unaffected computers. So as you can see, LanGuard is working in very similar way as the antivirus. We have the definitions of the vulnerabilities, we have the definitions of missing patches and all other stuff, and we are able to scan for it. LanGuard is also being updated on a regular basis to update these new definitions. That means that you are always up to date and always ready to discover new things which are out in your network. So the answer to most of the vulnerabilities is patching. Yeah. So from the vulnerabilities perspective, we are able to scan devices such as switches, routers, other network devices, operating systems, including Windows operating systems, major distribution versions of Linux, Mac operating system, and also third-party applications, as you saw with the Adobe Flash Player. And when it comes to the patches, from the patch perspective, we are able to patch third-party applications. There is a supported list of, I don't know, 200 applications, the most common applications which people are likely to use on their computers. And of course, we are able to patch major distribution versions of Linux, Mac, and of course, Windows operating systems. So as I was saying, the patches are in most cases the answer to already existing vulnerabilities. As I said, there is always a grace period after which the vulnerability will get public. But before the vulnerability will get public, the vendor in whose device or in whose operating system the vulnerability has been discovered, the vendor is warned that yes, there is this and this vulnerability, this is how we found out, and the vendor has, let's say, 2 or 3 weeks response time, so he can create a patch, a security patch, which is directly fixing the vulnerabilities. Of course, some of the vendors are able to do it, some of the vendors are not able to do it, and for some of the products, it's not going to happen. Those products are, for example, end of engineering, or end of life, and for example, Windows 7 is one of those products. As I'm sure you know, the Windows 7 is no longer supported by Microsoft. That means that all the vulnerabilities, all the things which will be discovered in the Windows 7, and I bet there will be new vulnerabilities coming in for Windows 7 in this year, and all of these things are not going to be fixed. So pretty much, even to have Windows 7 in the network is a pure vulnerability, and you can't do anything with it. Yeah, there is no patch going to come from the Microsoft. The only thing what you can possibly do is to fine-tune the firewall rules to reduce the traffic to that computer, so all the vulnerabilities which are present there won't be exploited by the malicious groups. So as before with the vulnerabilities, the patches are listed in the main groups. We can see the missing security patches, non-security updates, missing service packs and rollups, and so on and so on. As before, you can easily click on the patch, for example, VirtualBox. You can see the reference, the CV number. You can see the description. You can see the URL from where the patch will be downloaded. If I will choose to update. And all these updates are going to be verified once they are downloaded by GFI LanGuard. So this is a precaution to help or to prevent spoofing of the downloaded file. So literally that no one will play with the update and you will then willingly install a virus in believing that you are installing a patch. So also this is done by the LanGuard. So when you will continue to scan, you can also learn about the open ports. So both TCP and UDP ports. So also this is very valuable information, but because the LanGuard will not only tell you what port numbers are open, both on TCP and UDP, but also LanGuard will tell you what or who is behind that port. So for example, as you see on my screen, TCP 139. So in this case, it's NetBIOS. So LanGuard will definitely show you the description of this port. If we will click on the port 3389, we can see that it's basically terminal services, and the same happens for the UDP port. So we can easily click on port 3702, and you can see it's web service dynamic discovery, and so on and so on. Another needed part of security tools such as LanGuard is the software audit. As I mentioned, the vulnerabilities are huge, and there are always vulnerabilities present. The patches are the answer to the vulnerabilities, but some of the applications, they could be considered as vulnerable even when they don't have any vulnerability included. I'll explain why. For example, if your company is allowing remote users, definitely under the COVID-19 pandemic, there are a lot of users, a lot of employees working from home. So if your company is allowing this and you are having a VPN to support this new workflow or this new way of working, then you should be definitely cautious when it comes to the remote access applications. And so such applications could be easily considered as a vulnerability. Because if you are allowing VPN, we all know that VPN requires authentication. You can force two-factor authentication. It's encrypted. You can control what people can do, what they can access. You have the audit. You have full control on the VPN. So in such case, you should not allow to have a remote access applications, such as AnyDesk, TeamViewer, or I mean, you name it, there are like 22 different remote access applications. Because the pure usage of those applications could be understood as a vulnerability. Who's using TeamViewer? Why is using TeamViewer? If you are familiar with TeamViewer, then you know that for TeamViewer, it's enough to have the ID and the password. In most cases, the password is only 4 digits. and people in most cases are not using whitelists or block lists in the TeamViewer or any other management tool. So they are just using it very simple. Yeah, this is also the benefit of the TeamViewer. You install and you can connect. But in the corporate network, this can bring a lot of harm, because how difficult it is to hack a 4-digit password, or even you just go buy a computer which is just on the table in a restaurant, and you can see the person's screen, and you can easily memorize, and you can just take a picture with your cell phone, and voila, you have the access to the corporate network with the TeamViewer or any other application. So in such case, the software audit of GFI LanGuard is able to point the fingers that these applications exist, and also it can take it to another level, that you can configure those applications to be unwanted, and once those applications will be discovered, then LanGuard can easily and automatically uninstall those applications. So you don't need to be worried, and the response time of your security teams to such applications installed in your network will be pretty much instant. But of course, from the software audit, there is much more you can learn about what anti-spyware applications are installed, what firewall applications, what operating system, web browsers, and so on and so on. You can also create your own categories. You can really redesign this, and you can aim the LanGuard on the specific apps on which you are interested. So this is just to explain one of the benefits of the software audit, and we can easily jump on the other part of the information, which is retrieved from the scans performed by GFI LanGuard, and that's the hardware audit. The hardware audit, as the name says, is going to tell you what CPU, what RAM, what hard drive, what motherboard, pretty much the components which are part of your infrastructure. And this is very good for the asset tracking. Definitely, you can really know what is happening with the environment. But if you read between the lines, we can see network devices. So in such case, we can also scan, I don't know, wireless dongles, you know, these small USB devices, which you can easily plug anywhere into USB port, and you can connect to Wi-Fi. So again, if you read between the lines, how difficult it is for an employee to take a small USB wireless dongle, plug it into the computer, and connect to a hotspot which is created by his cell phone, or to connect to unsecured wireless network. In this case, again, that computer is going to bypass all the investment onto the security products, such as the firewalls. Yeah, it's pretty much going to bypass. And this could be easily used as a bridge by hackers. Yeah, and they don't need to hack you, basically. The only thing what they will need is to connect easily through a device which is costing, like, I don't know, 10 euros, and could be easily plugged into the computer and connected to a wireless network. So in this case, again, LanGuard can point fingers where such USB dongle is installed, and you can easily just stand up and take it out, or you can ask questions of the employee why he plugged it in, or whatsoever. The last piece of information which is going to be discovered by LanGuard is called the system information. In this case, the LanGuard will tell you about the shares, about the services running, the processes running, what kind of users are created, logged on users, users groups, trusted domains, open sessions, or other information when you can easily learn about the password policy or a security audit policy, if there are any set in place on that specific computer. So as you can see, there is a lot of information which LanGuard can offer, a lot of information which a common security application such as the antivirus is not always able to deliver. So the key to better security is to have multiple layers. Antivirus is a very good security tool, but it's only one of the needed layers in your company, and you need to, as more layers you're going to add, the better security you will actually have at the end. When it comes to the patch deployment in the LanGuard could be done manually or automatically. I'll show you how the process is looking. So I already did some patching before. So if I'll go to remediate operations, LanGuard will pretty much download the patch. The patch could be downloaded or manually or automatically. The automatic way is that LanGuard knows what patches are missing, and it's going to basically pre-fetch all the patches before the real deployment. Once the patch is downloaded or the patch is already in the LanGuard patch repository, the LanGuard will easily copy that patch to the target computer, and it will simply deploy it. After that, it will verify that the patch has been deployed successfully. So in this case, I wanted to highlight that all the patches are going to be downloaded only once. And from the repository which you are going to eventually build in the LanGuard, they are going to be delivered to multiple computers. So we are not going to download the same stuff 100 times. The single patch will be downloaded always once and delivered to as many nodes as required. So we are going to save a lot of bandwidth. And when it comes to the approval of the patches, of course, LanGuard will never install patches without you knowing or without the user intervention. In this case, you need to always validate or approve the patch. We have two ways how to do it. We have the manual approval. In this case, you will pretty much have a very huge list of patches which are found as missing in my network. Let's wait until this will load up, because it's a little bit slower with the TeamViewer connected to my home network. So pretty much there will be a huge list of patches, yeah, finally, and vendors. And in this case, you need to select a certain patch and pretty much choose that I want to approve this patch. Yeah? So for example, we can see Google Chrome 83 version. So click on it and click on approve. So once this patch will be, well, it is missing in my network, but once you will scan again and the computers will be verified that really that this patch is missing, the LanGuard will not ask any other question. It will simply download the file if needed and simply deploy the file. Because you already approved it, that means that you verify that this installation is good. Another way how to do it is the automatic approval. In this case, it's a little bit more simple, and you are choosing the vendor. So for example, Apple, you're choosing the product which is supported from that vendor. So for example, Safari, and you are choosing the severity or the group of the patches. And simply you're approving all the patches, for example, from the critical severity. So by simple clicking on the checkbox, and all patches which are matching these requirements will be automatically approved and will be automatically deployed if missing. And also this is a step for the future, because all future patches which are going to be produced by Apple for the product Safari and will be listed as a critical severity patches, all future patches will be also approved as well and immediately deployed. So again, you are reducing the response time. And as I mentioned before, it's always a race. It's a race who is going to fix or exploit the vulnerability, and vulnerability is fixed by patches. So the shortest response time, the better security. So all this information which I showed you, what LanGuard is able to detect or scan from the computers, it might be too much to handle. So for this purpose, we do have the embedded reporting capability, and the embedded reporting capability is also matching the compliant reports, such as the PCI DSS, which stands for the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. And we have the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, which is pretty much the US standard. Then we have the ISO 27001. So pretty much a lot of compliance reports, plus also the general reports. So easily, if you are interested in to know, I don't know, what is the patch status of your environment, you can easily click on that. You can schedule, you can export in CVE, you can export as a PDF, and these reports could be delivered to your security teams or to your auditors on a regular basis. So you can always be sure where is the bottleneck, where is the security bottleneck of your network, and what needs to be addressed as the first. So as you can see, this report is created only for the specific computer because I have selected the specific computer. And over here, we can see the missing updates, distributed chart by severity. We can see all the different kinds of information from different angles. In this case, it's not so much. If I'm going to click on the entire network and we'll generate the same report. In this case, we will have more information on the slide. And of course, then we'll have a total overview of the patch status across 25 computers, which are basically part of my home network and have been discovered by GFI LanGuard. One other thing which I wanted to show or mention is that LanGuard is also able to integrate with Active Directory, and it's able to pull the computers from the Active Directory as well, so it can synchronize. So as you can see that this is the report on the patch status for the entire network, so pretty much 25 computers. So we have a very nice overview of missing updates and installed updates. We can see all the IPs, we can see how many critical, important, moderate, or other patches are missing. Then we can see the missing patches per operating system, and so on and so on. So as you can see, there are like 34 pages of within this report. So of course, for these reports, you can also make a customization, so you can change the values, you can adjust the reports to meet your requirements better. So this is pretty much all what I wanted to show you for a very brief overview of LanGuard functionality. And now over to you.
Okay, thank you, Joseph, so much. Αφού τελειώσαμε λοιπόν το κομμάτι αυτό, δεν ξέρω αν υπάρχουν κάποια ερωτήματα που θα θέλατε να απαντήσουμε τώρα. Οπότε βλέπω ότι δεν υπάρχει κάτι, οπότε να σας ευχαριστήσουμε για το χρόνο σας. Θα σας σταλεί σχετικό link με το recording του συγκεκριμένου webinar και για οτιδήποτε άλλο φυσικά χρειαστείτε, είμαστε εδώ στη διάθεσή σας. Τα στοιχεία επικοινωνίας μας θα τα βρείτε στο link του webinar. Ευχαριστούμε πολύ.